Hi everyone, so this is finally going to be a cage or enclosure tour of Ellie's new tortoise table. Okay, so I'll start off with a quick overview of Ellie's enclosure. So this is what it looks like. I'm really happy with it, and I'm especially happy with the size of it. It's a nice, good sized cage or enclosure with a good amount of space so that she can have the kind of required exercise she needs without having or needing to come out of her enclosure. So, you know, like with the guinea pig, she will get time outside of her enclosure and be able to go on the grass and graze and things, but she won't need to come out of her cage to have the required exercise. So I'm really happy with it. It's got kind of hidey house down this end, and it's got her lamps down there. So kind of the species that Ellie is, she needs to have part dry and desert conditions and part damp kind of rainforest conditions in her enclosure, as well as hay for nesting in. I'm not sure if Mediterranean species can have hay, but Ellie's species kind of needs hay to nest in, and they really do like to have a good amount of hay to make nests and kind of get cosy in. So that's all in her area and here in the hidey house. But this is just an overview, and it's not too cluttered at the moment. It's quite bare. That's just because I'm quite conscious of how timid she was when she first came. So with any new pets, and especially with kind of pets that have been rescued, it's important to kind of wean them onto bedding, onto food, onto or into cages and things like that, because you don't want them to be scared or to lose confidence. And that's why there's not too many things. She does have more rocks and a couple of fiddlesticks bridges to hide under, but at the moment I'm not putting them in until she's more comfortable and confident with the enclosure. And also the bedding will be deeper once she's comfortable with that. To begin with, she wouldn't even step on the sand bedding or the soil bedding, but now she's really comfortable with it, so obviously I'll gradually add more so she can dig in it and enjoy that. So we've got her kind of heat or hot area and cold area down here. So I'll kind of go in closer and give you a proper tour of her cage. Okay, so starting on the outside of her enclosure, we've got this plug socket, which I think is a really cool feature. It just sits on the outside of her enclosure, which means it's really easy to get to, and it's got lots of spare plug sockets there, so I can plug anything into it if I want to. But it's got her UV and heat lamp plugged in there. I've only got one timer at the moment, but I will be purchasing another one when I can. Obviously I don't need it at the minute because I'm around, so I can just switch them on and off manually. But I think this is a really cool feature because it's so nice and tidy and easy to access, and the wires just run underneath the enclosure, so they're pinned on under here, and there's the switches come out here. So I've got two switches, so I can turn them off here if I want to, and here are the lamps. But I can also turn them off by the socket, just like that. You can see them going off and on there, and I can also turn them off and on by the plug, which is up there. So I think that's a really cool feature. It's nice and easy for me to access. And then also with the wall of her enclosure, or this front wall, before anybody asks or comments about it, it is being made higher, but I didn't want to do it straight away because being quite timid, I wanted her to be comfortable around me, so that obviously as a pet owner, the worst thing could be your pet being afraid of you or not wanting to be around you. So that's why the wall's not kind of finished yet. What's going to happen is we're going to have a plastic walling. I'm not sure how high up to, but that's basically, we're making it out of clear plastic. I think it's called plexiglass or something like that, and that's so I can see in basically and have really easy access to her. And it's going to be done quite cleverly so I can have easy access. She doesn't climb out of this. She probably won't ever climb out of it because she's really timid. But like I said, the reason I haven't added the wall yet is because I want her to be comfortable around me, and the only way to do that is to kind of sit around her and be with her as much as possible. So before anybody comments about this being too not high enough or anything, please don't, because I've explained now why, and it's a pretty reasonable explanation. She's quite timid, and those of you who are new subscribers, definitely go and watch the kind of Meet Ellie video, because then you'll understand why she's so timid. So just over this end we've got her Heidi house, which is full of hay, as I mentioned at the beginning. And just on top I've got a couple of jars. I've got one which has dried weeds and flowers and things, and the other's got calcium. I've got a few decorations here, so I've got this leafy plant just hanging here. On the back wall here I've got a beware of the tortoise sign, which I think is really cute, so the wall just looks like that. And then just here I've got another leafy plant which is also for decoration. So going back to over here, in the corner here we've got her food dish which needs filling. It has only just been cleaned, which is why it's empty at the moment, but I thought I'd put it in so you guys can kind of see where her food is or goes. Then just in this corner here we've got a couple of rocks. She does have a couple of rocks in, but like I said, I'll gradually add more for her to climb on. I've got a thermometer at the back there. I've got one either end, one in the hot side, one in the cold side. And just down here we've got her kettlebone. And in the middle of the two kind of bedding materials I have got her water dish, and I've also managed to get a larger one. This is larger than the one you'd have seen in my haul. I needed a larger one so that she could get in it and soak in it and fit in it. So I did manage to get a larger one, and this is it, and she fits perfectly fine in this, which is really good, and it's nice and shallow and pretty much the perfect size for her. So that just sits in the middle of the two bedding materials. And then we've got the sand here. There is another rock somewhere here. There it is. And then we've got the heat lamps at the back here. This one's the UV and this one's the heat lamp, and a thermometer thing just there, so I can kind of measure both temperatures really easily. And then just here we've got a big piece of slate which I was recommended, and I've also researched that it's best to kind of place the slate under the heat lamp, because once the heat lamps have been turned off, this stays warm for a good couple of hours after, so it's really good. And I was actually surprised because Ellie really likes this slate. Obviously the purpose of it is to keep her nails down, but she really likes it, so that's a really good thing, because I was a bit nervous about this material for her. There's usually a lot more sand on it, but I've just tidied it up so that you guys can see it. So this just sits at the end, and it's pretty much a perfect fit and goes from one end to the other. So here's Ellie's nesting box. I managed to get the lid off while she was out in the enclosure. She's just come back in. I was hoping to get clips of her out in the enclosure, but she's just come back in. I think she wants a nap, so I'll have to put the lid back on in a second. So here's the lid. It just lifts on and off really easily, and I just completely fill this with hay, because obviously her breed do really well with nesting in hay. So it's completely full, and it usually is fluffed up a lot more, but she's made a little trail there, and she usually burrows right into it so that you can't see her. So she really likes this area. It's nice and cozy for her, and you can really tell the size of the enclosure now just by Ellie being there. She's not a tiny tortoise, and compared to her in this enclosure you can really tell that it's a good size for her. There you go. So that kind of proves the size of it and the size of Ellie. So it's a good size for her to exercise in. So here she is, and I'm going to actually leave her alone now so she can go and have a nap. So that's her nesting. So that is Ellie's enclosure. I'm really happy with it. I will put the measurements in the description box once I've measured it, but it's a good size. When we were building this, before the little hide wall was there, I can lie in this, so it's definitely not a small enclosure, which is really good. So that's pretty much it. I'm really happy with it, and obviously you guys will see it gradually changing with more items in it and hidey places, but obviously can't do that until she's a bit more confident. But she really likes it now. She's a lot more confident in living within it. She will happily come out, and she's very lively now. She'll happily walk out, and is really comfortable walking around the enclosure now, which she wasn't at the beginning, which is really good. She's adjusting quite quickly, but I am spending quite a lot of time with her and taming her and things, so it's going really well. But I'm really happy with the enclosure. It's really worked out nice. So don't forget to comment and let me know what you think of it, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing her enclosure, and thanks for watching. Bye everyone.